fuck up.
I gotta move up into frame. Hang on.
Too late. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Nerve Check, where we once again screw up the intro. I am me, once again, being joined by the looks and the brains to talk about everything to do with March of Death. So thank you again to all of our tens of listeners who, of course, are listening to us on Apple, right? People are signing into Apple to do that sort of thing, I'm hoping. Anyway.
Nine people are. We
Nine-
talked about this before.
people.
9 people. So we're almost at our bracket of tens of listeners.
We've almost got to the 10.
Soon.
Here we go. In any case, 2 weekends ago, me and John attended and kind of helped make it look like we did something to help run March of Death, while Ray actually did all the work and legwork and setting up and all the work. So we're here to talk about how all this went. So let's start with you there, Ray. Ray, once again, thank you for running March of Death. It was fantastic.
Well, it was my first time running a 2-day event, and I tried to up the difficulty by saying I'm going to run a 2-day event and put it in a hotel so that I could deal with all the administration and financial concerns of how much does it cost when I had no clue, and setting the price point before I knew any of the costs, and running the event and not really knowing what I was doing because I was going to use Mike Adkins software, which was great, by the way, spoiler, and then hoping that we had enough people come to make it a good event. So it ran.
And how'd it work out?
It ran smoothly. It was a good event. We had 26 people come and play. We only had 2 drops. Those being the Les Champions from Ottawa, who got ill with the flu. No, well, Tim is Australian, so we lost the international exposure we were having from the Commonwealth. But he's promised me I get to see him at King Beyond the Wall. So it actually was a lot of work to organize, from getting the hotel, getting the timeline into the hotel, telling people about it, which is really where Ben and John, I owe you both a big thanks for poking everyone in the community to say, hey, look, this event is coming up. Make sure you register. Make sure you sign up. You guys were great at advertising it, which is definitely not my forte. But then trying to make sure I ran the event for an event that I would want to go to, which was you show up, you get to play your 5 games. You don't have to worry about driving. You don't have to worry about the scores, and everything runs really smoothly. So hopefully I put that on. Everyone had enough food, I think, from the 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone left, and we finished 5 minutes early ahead of schedule, at least.
Yeah. That was only because there was a James off on the last table, I think.
Well, that was it. Like there was a game on table 12, and it actually mattered for who was going to get the wooden spoon. So I couldn't just like say, I have all the awards sorted out. It was like that decision. And I think it was Max playing.
It was Max playing Cooper. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it actually mattered for who won the gigantic, most amazing wooden spoon effort that Ben created.
That was the 8 pounds of glory that somebody got to take home.
So I was impressed. Grace brought an absolutely gorgeous army. She said she was bringing a gorgeous army.
And she committed to the bit. She came with that hat and the vest, and on the second day had the T-shirt, and it was all mushroom. It was mushrooms all the time.
Since most of our people have no idea what we're talking about,
Right,
mushroom-themed army, giant mushroom monsters as like heavy as the infantry and the elementals, mushroom riders, everybody's got fungal growths, a mushroom-themed display board, a mushroom-themed hat. Yeah, it was a good showing.
It was absolutely fantastic, and hands down won Player's Choice as well.
Yeah, she won Player's Choice and Best Painted. So.
And Best Painted, yeah. Sorry.
So it was well deserved because going into it, like I got a hotel rate that was as low as what you'll see anywhere in North America for room rate for the night. and got the food sorted. Probably had way too much food for Saturday lunch, so I'd correct that going into the future. And I'd probably take some of that money to put it into the prize support for best general, best sports, and best painted. That's probably the one thing I'd like to improve for next year, is to just touch up those awards for those three people.
Now, that being said, they were like the banners you had done with a quick thanks to James Cooper to help do that logo in the corner. Those things look great. You picked the exact right thing. It all looked fantastic. The banners came out the way, and they were unique. There was something you can just kind of like put on a wall somewhere,
Yeah.
and it was really nicely done. Like honestly, and of course the first place, your first place was a giant bloody.
The Great Helm was great.
Yeah.
It fit my head. I was shocked with my ego. Anything could get in there.
So I think we'll keep the Great Helm, and then what I want to do is I want to do like one of those maps showing the march with like scenarios picked out, so you can say like, here's battle 1 with this scenario, battle 2 with this scenario, battle 3 with that scenario, battle 4.
Right, yeah.
So I can lay out the 5 scenarios, and then put the little brass plaque on it saying best sports, best paint, best whatever. And I think that's what I envision for the sports painted and battle award. So, and I'll, if I'm given permission by the Illuminati of Ontario to run the event again, that is my plan for next year. Which will be, I can tell everyone the date as to what it's going to be, because I can plan a year in advance. It will be the 6th, 7th, and 8th of March, 2026.
Oh, well, there you go. That'll be good to plan well in advance this time around. So I'll be able to tell my wife a week before, like I did this time around. So
did you really?
I may or may not have put it on the calendar, but
we all had to tell our wife the week before.
I did appreciate, though, as we were leaving, it was John, Alex, and I think we all got calls saying, guys, are you going to be home in time for supper? Like, are you actually leaving on time? Or
have you actually left?
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm actually leaving on time. And to be fair, my wife didn't believe me until I actually showed up at home, when it was like,
no, mate, you got us out really damn fast. Like, honestly, when it was clicking close to 3 o'clock, and I'm like, we're basically done. Like, that was fantastic. It really was.
I did have a lot of fun with the terrain. John, thanks for bringing the extra tables that I didn't have.
Yep.
I am already working on the next table, which is my mushroom theme table.
Nice.
A year late for Grace, but we'll be there.
She can come back.
Yeah.
Damn right. I hope she does.
And so I had a lot of fun. So I'm working on making sure I have my 12 tables all set up, all laid out. Because to me, that was a lot of fun, creating Ben's underwater table and the Forces of Abyss with the volcanoes, and just trying to build some nice tables, because it's a piece of the hobby that I actually enjoy. I get to use the 3D printer and just hammer stuff out.
Yeah, the train all looked great for the day.
Yeah. Speaking of things that look great, just about every army that came, the guys that came down from the champions that came down from Montreal, all their armies looked fantastic. We had that bug themed Northern Alliance army. I can't remember which one of the brothers had that one.
He acquired that from Nathan.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, it was that one. Okay. Now I was wondering why it looked so familiar.
Paul brought his beautiful Forces of Abyss, which were done in purples and well highlighted.
Yep.
And then there was James, who brought his Empire of Dust.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a nice army. But how did you guys fare during the 2-day tournament, Ben? I heard you got to play 5 new players you've never seen before.
Well, yeah. Let's start with. Technically, I played 6 games. So after picking up, we had Joe Bogues, who came from came up to get in on the tournament, and we flew in with his army and everything else, and I got about halfway to the venue, and we were talking about things, and I realized on the way there that didn't pack my army. So the first boss was actually remembering to bring models to play with. So thank God we were playing in Ontario. So
Jesus.
I got in, and I was like, because we were talking about some remote that I need, and I was like, oh yeah, and that's in my army bag, and I don't have it. So I got to the venue, dropped everybody off, got everybody ready for dinner, and then drove all the way back home again, turned around and went back. So that was game one for me. I failed. Sadly enough, game one on the day was versus John's brother. It was Mike McCready, that dirty bastard, playing his free dwarves, who I thought I was going to have a completely no. I'm never having an easy game against Mike. Mike hasn't played in a while. It was great to actually get the chance to play against him again. He said he was scared about playing me. We were messaging back and forth, and I said I'm petrified to play you again because I know something bad's going to happen. And bugger bloody outplayed me. It was invade against dwarves, and somehow I just didn't get enough shit over the bloody line to get the win out. It was close. It was bloody close. We had a couple of things that kind of went sideways for us, but it was. I started with a loss, so I was like, great. This is dead of winter all over again. That unfortunately brought me into playing yet another McCready. The man I have still never beaten at a tournament. However, I fared a little better against the older brother this time around, didn't I there, Mr. John?
Yeah, we had to play round two, and after a tight back and forth, I failed an important nerve check, and we ended in a draw, which went to a winning draw towards Ben on attrition. Because my shit didn't kill anything, and his did. So
yeah, I killed a shit ton of stuff for some reason.
Because my stuff wouldn't kill yours. It would get close and miss by one, and you'd be wavered or have fury, and it wouldn't matter. And then other stuff would charge. So it was a very painful, drawn-out draw.
Yeah, I think you have like 3 units on the table, and it was a 3-3 draw because I just couldn't get enough into the one.
Yeah, all my units were scoring, and you couldn't run the knucker fast enough to catch the 7th token because you'd left it way behind.
Yeah, I fucked that up, but shit like that happens.
All my stuff that was holding, like my hordes that were holding tokens, were like, meh, we'll just roll over and die.
Yep.
So
that was
how it goes.
Yeah,
on to your turn 3, or your round 3.
And on to round 3 where I played James, who came down from Montreal. He was playing Empire at Dust. This is I don't remember how many games. Not a lot of games for these guys that had come down, but they were
not a lot of live games. They've played a bunch of UB. I was talking to Paul, and they've played a bunch of UB apparently. Just not as many live games as maybe we have.
Yeah. Well, what they were telling us was because we were talking to them during dinner, and they would go off. Oh, what we're learning so far is that's how that rule actually works on the table. It doesn't just work the way that they thought it did. It was work. So they learned a lot on playing 5 games over a weekend at a higher level against not the same army constantly. And on top of that, there were interactions with rules that they were like, oh. Fortunately, I didn't catch them out with any of those, but I've played enough against shambling armies to know how to kind of.
Yeah.
I really think he should have been a little more aggressive with some of the things that he had done. Sadly, he couldn't kill a set of my crabs and had a little problem playing against Ensnare. And that was kind of what saved the day for me. So that was my first 3 games. I pulled out a win. I had a draw. So I dead and winnered it again. I was 1-1-1 going into day 2. So how about you then, John?
Day 1 for me was a similar tale of events. So my game against Justin went very strongly in Justin's favor. He played really well. He let me execute my plan because his plan was to just let me do that and then counterpunch the shit out of my list, which was a great strategy for him. Worked out big time. Didn't break enough of his front line because I took a third risky charge that maybe it was like probably like a 40% chance of working, but normally my dice don't let me down. But they did. So he was able to then just kind of mop up a bunch of units in the middle, and then his greater air elementals just got to get loose and do whatever they do, which is not nice things to defense 3. So stunning victory for and not stunning in the fact that he did it, but stunning in the amount of points he got. Victory for Justin, and sent me down to face Ben, which we've already covered off. So another game where dice were important and didn't come through for me. So that was that. On to game 3. I played our friend James Cooper. Was that game 3?
That was game 3.
Yeah, that was game 3.
I was playing one of the tables above you, yeah.
So game 3, playing our friend James Cooper and his ogre list. He made a small mistake early, and I got to flank charge a horde of hunters with my Knight Horde. My Knight Horde that typically does jack shit all game gets a nice clean, 0 repercussion flank charge. Did, I don't know, I want to say
it did
38 wounds to start with, and then snaked it. Okay, it's all right. They're now devastated, and I'll take 1 sergeant in the flank, so 10 attacks in the flank, and he's got a thing of hunters, which I cast, I think, my only use of Scorched Earth all tournament on those hunters, so they'd be disordered on their way in. So, great. Did all that stuff. They'd end up being hindered on the way in because then they lose power. Whatever. It was great for me. So did all that. It did mean I got to kill a couple of units that were largely repercussion free because they were hiding behind the Knight Horde in case it failed, and it did fail. So that worked out. He failed to kill the Knight Horde, so I got to attack that unit again. And
which had healed to 37 wounds at this point in time.
So this was a roller coaster of emotions, this whole thing. So they're at 37 wounds. I do a bunch more wounds. I think I got them to 48 or something at this point.
You did 1 because you charged with your...
Oh, no, I had to do it with the
Yeah, your Night Horde died. You had to do this with your Horde of...
I did it with a wizard or something.
No, your Horde of Infantry that was hindered.
Yeah, I got 1 wound. So rolling on 6s,
back to
1 wound. Oh, on half dice because then it was in the front. So, 10 attacks, 6s, get my 1 wound, 38. This should be a no-brainer, but everyone's already figured out I snaked it again. So those shitheads just get to keep on trucking.
With 38 wounds because they're devastated.
That's right. So they're crippled. I mop up a bunch of other units, go on to the next turn, and I just got to kill him. So I think I hit him with a Draken, a Beast Cav Horde at this point. So the Beast Cav arc over the back of the line, and I think it was a rear charge even. Because flank. So they thump them again. And I get them 68 wounds. 65 wounds.
That wasn't 69.
That's right. Close to 65 wounds. And this would end up being snake number 3. So I've got this thing of hunters now just in the middle of the game. Just refusing to die. The rest of the game was thankfully going well. So it wasn't a heartbreaking occurrence where it led him to sweep in and snatch victory, but oh my god, it took 4 rounds of combat when they should have been dead by any stretch every single time.
The best part about this is I'm playing the row above you here, and all I can see is you, and I'm thinking James is doing well. He must be. I walk over, there's nothing left on it. I'm like, but this is one thing.
Yeah, the end of the game finally worked out. I think I had to fight them with another infantry, my infantry militia, which they're garbage and they have no business doing this. But I think they then got a flank because at this point everybody got to. But yeah, finally I murdered them after 4 rounds of combat. So
and that wasn't your only double 1 that game. You rolled double 1s on them 3 times.
3 times and another unit for a 4th double 1 in that game, I think. So hooray! Finished day 1, 1-1-1. So feeling not terrible. And we knew because Ray posted it, who our day 2 opponents would be. So I knew I was going in. I'll go through all mine and then Ben can finish his story. So I went through and had to play Nick Scabetta, who's been playing as Rift Forge for a while now. I know he's been playing them for a while, and I thought I'm pretty good at Rift Forge. And then my lack of practice games lately immediately showed because I put all my tokens on my 1 militia horde, thinking I'll have time to spread it out at the end of the game. But that's not how my list ever plays. There's never anything left at the end of the day to like spread tokens around to. Because by the end of the game, everybody's had to do their job. So most things are dead. Yeah, most of their jobs are dying. It actually was a very tight game. His strategy again was he's like, well, I got mine spread out. So if we do nothing all game, I win. Right? Nick would win because he'd have 3 points to my 1 point because units only score 1 token. So we faced off in the middle for a long time, finally got some combats going. I think at the end of the game, I had only killed and like taken off the table 1 of his units.
Oh, damn.
Maybe 2. I might have gotten 1 of the infantry blocks, but it was a story of like, I need an 18 and I roll a 17 and they have fury, so fight back. I need a 17 and I roll a 16 and they have fury, so they fight back. It came down to the final charge of the game on turn 6. I needed to kill his horde in the middle, take that 1 token on his side of the board, and I win 4-2.
Yeah.
I front it with my beast cav. I flank it with a lord. Things are looking good, and I think I rolled a 5 on their nerf. So, and I needed it was a 6 or a 7. So they survive. No turn 6. Sad day. Or no turn 7. So went from what would have ended up being a 4-2 to I think 3-2 for him. So that's how it goes. On to game 5, I got to play my first new player.
Yay!
Well, new to me. So I got to play Noah Hutton, who'd come up from the States with some of the boys there as well. Never had a chance to play him before, and he was playing a dirty version of Rats, which is very similar to what Alex used to play. So I at least was prepared for how it played. And thank God he split his nightmares into 2 separate battle groups.
Oh, you mean wait a minute, you mean Alex Coos, new player Alex Coos, that guy? New player
Alex Coos, yes. Has occasionally played Racken in the past. But
yeah.
So he had his nightmares all lined up together, which 2 hordes of them will demolish all of my infantry.
Yeah.
Like they will just rip through them with their fighting and their shooting and their fighting. It'll be awful for me. And I baited him with some Pegasus and Beast Cav and a Lord over on one very far wing, and he turned half of them to go that way. And then the other half went straight up. So he was split up his battle group, and I was able to start finding flanks and just move around because I'm faster and can charge further. And Scud, thank God, whiffed against a unit of militia, so I got to pin Scud down. Yeah. Yep. It was an unavoidable charge from Scud. I was like, well, if he does and I die, then he might get out of arc if he rolls a real good overrun. If he doesn't, then I can flank him with militia, which will at least hold him in place till Beast Cav can come to save the day, which is what happened. So finished the tournament out at a very respectable for Kingdoms of Men, 2-2-1.
Ooh, Kingdoms of Men, 500.
Right? Kingdoms of Men, medium.
Well, I'm going to take your medium and make it even more medium. But yeah, okay. So I went in to game 4 and I was playing Eamon and his ogres. And I thought I had this game in the absolute bag. There was a double one that happened way over on the one side where I had like 18 wounds on a Siegebreaker horde, anything but double ones it. And it turned that game hard. Like it really did. I went from being able just to like run through from one side of the table all the way to the other to having 3 units die and having to work my ass off. It was always a tough, but my God, that was that was just something I couldn't come back from. I did have my my tokens on a Tidal Swarm on one side and 2 of the Depth Horror Eternals on the other. And the Depth Horror Eternals just kind of played around one of the impassable terrain pieces and
shuffle around and then shuffle back and shuffle around.
And I was able to run 1 across just because I missed position 1 to be facing out, which I should have. If I had done that, I would have been able, but we ended up in a 20-point difference, 10-10 draw.
Nice.
It was down the bloody line. The entire time, Eamon kept saying, I've lost this. I've lost. He had the center token on one of his units on my side, which was the 2 points he needed. So I went on to game 5, where I almost played Joe, and it would have been free win to Joe because everybody knows that my kryptonite is definitely his hair. But instead, I ended up playing. Clubmate Mr. Nathan Sorrell.
Ah, nice.
And unfortunately, there's not a lot to say about this game because Nathan did not pop his pots on round 3.
No.
And I triple charged the living crap out of one of his hordes and just wiped it off the table. And then I was sitting on his side of the table, just saying, what up? And it just did not go well at that point. Like it was, I ended up tabling Nathan. It was a true blackjack. I think it came through on the thing as an actual blackjack, and I felt a little bad.
But only a little, because you're a bad man.
Because I'm a terrible person. I needed the points. Let's be honest here. I mean, I've got a reputation to uphold, and my reputation is end up as top Canadian. So, with the extra 21 points, that one extra point put me in 5th.
Important distinction. At a tournament in Canada, the top Canadian was 5th.
It might even have been 6th, but I still ended up
legitimately 5th.
It was legitimately 5th, 1 point ahead of Mr. Coos, who I picked to win the damn thing. But yeah, I was yet again top Canadian. Still not the best player in Canada, but I'll take top Canadian every single time. So thank you, Nathan, for the springboard. But all that being said, absolutely fantastic weekend. Honestly, the conversations we had with people during dinners, the constant talking during the breakfast, the chats we had during lunch, the gaming at night was great. I can't even remember what was the game that we were playing.
Space Race.
Space Race. My God, I got to get a copy of that. That thing is fantastic. Great weekend. Grace is an absolute killer. I hope to see her a hell of a lot more. My God, did not expect. Well, I mean, we should have expected. She came up with Trowbridge.
So
yeah. I mean, the two of them. He's probably going, no, this is I've probably helped her get into the game, and these are the things you have to look out for, and all the rest of it. Joe and Eric were talking about just dwarf setup, and as I was taking Joe home that night, it was like, my God, I learned more in 10 minutes talking to Eric than I have in 3 years of playing dwarves. We had a great, an absolute great time. There was nothing but good people. There was Mark. How do you pronounce Mark's last name?
Rossi.
Rossi. Yeah, I actually worked with him too. Mark had a fantastic weekend. Here's a guy that keeps saying that he doesn't belong at the top tables and played table 1, 2, and 3 for the first 4 rounds of that tournament.
He kicked ass.
Absolutely fantastic. His dice were great. He was I think that's the happiest I've seen that man ever. And I see him every day of the week. We had such it was just such a great time. There was some I shit you not when I said in the thing before, there were certain tournament games I would like to just watch instead of playing my game. But man, it was great. It was great.
So that was a lot of fun. From a TO's perspective, push was actually one of the harder scenarios. Because
push is a terrible scenario now.
Because they made the changes in the errata, and it's not clear at all. So as the TO, I was like, well, I want to do push, but I don't know how this interacts with the new rules. It's not super clear. I reached out to a couple of the RC members, and even with all of that, I was like, we're going to do the rules as written in the rule book because that's clear. It makes sense. Everyone can play it. The unit strength changes. It was
It's very confusing now. We don't have to get into it here, but playing rules is written where your unit can score one token, whether it's on your side or the other side, was the easiest way to resolve it, which worked well.
Yeah,
it was. So I'm glad we could work through that.
We should get into all of these at some point in time in a next podcast later on.
Playing it that way actually severely hurt me because then my shit units could only score 1 point, which meant that if it was unit strength, they could have scored 3 or 3 tokens.
Oh yeah, 3 tokens.
No, they're unit strength 3.
Yeah, but once they cross the other side, they can only score up to their unit strength.
But that's what I mean. Even that 3 points would have been better than 1 point or 2 points. So,
but we're not getting into it right now. We're still not getting into it.
Yes, play better is the answer. Thank you, Ray. So helpful as a TO.
I was not helpful to you. I definitely owe you a drink, Sean. Because somebody may have chanted double ones on the second time he rolled double ones.
Yep.
And on the third time, I made sure I was on the opposite side of the room.
But still said it.
No, I didn't say it. I felt bad after number 2 because I didn't think there was a chance. I remember looking at you going, "Are you winning the game?" And John's like, "Yeah, I'm winning the game." I'm like, "Okay, double ones."
Right as I was rolling it. Yep. So we all know that that's how the curse works. When someone says it aloud, that's what happens. So
yeah. So for number 3, I was like, I'm not going to say it. I feel really bad for John. And then he rolled it himself. So I was like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
but it doesn't matter. The energy was already there. That's why I actually will never say I need anything but or snake eyes. I don't use those words when I'm playing. If I need that, I need a 3.
So he had big double 1 energy.
I need a 3 because
the
double one curse is a real thing.
Yeah, your dice finally took a shit. They absolutely fucking hated you this week. That weekend.
They were tricky though because they'd roll really hot some combats, and then for nerve checks, be like, no.
I can attest to this.
Yeah. Anyways, who won the tournament, Ray?
Yeah, Ray.
So it was actually reasonably close. It was probably decided by round 3 with the match between Corey Reynolds and Eric Trowbridge because that was 2 beautiful armies playing on the top table. And Eric won that match 4-3 in the scenario, and he ended up taking the tournament. I did have a laugh, though, coming into game 4 because Grace was playing on table 2 and Eric was playing on table 1. And I was like, if they both win, then it's going to be Grace versus Eric on table 5.
For round 5.
Well, that'll be a great drive back home, but didn't turn out that way. So Eric won Best General. Corey Reynolds,
Eric won overall.
Eric won overall. Corey Reynolds won Best General. Grace won Best Painted, and she also got the Player's Choice Award.
Yeah.
So I felt better for my choice of saying she's the best painted army when everyone else was like, "Yeah, we want to take her army home."
Yeah, she had a great looking army.
Painting's not my forte. And Best Sports was Nathan. Because Ben, apparently you voted for him. I don't know, sucking up to your boss or something, or
I did.
I don't know if you voted for him, but yeah,
I did. One of my 2 votes went to Nathan
because he is sucking up to his boss.
No, God, no. You should have seen what we were talking about today.
So no, you know what? There were no major issues. I got to learn a lot about the rules by being TO. For anyone thinking about being TO in the future, definitely take the day or 2 off before the event because, as you know, I was talking to Mike Rossi and trying to get his advice. He just ran Dead of Winter. I was like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "Prep as much as you can beforehand," which is absolutely true. Take a couple days off before the event because you forgot stuff, which is true. Doesn't help when your kids don't let you, but that's a different story.
Take a couple days off before the event? Like,
yeah,
how many days?
Well, I would definitely take the day of the event off. So I take that Friday off.
We're talking to engineers. They don't work to begin with, so it's fine.
Well, I take the Friday off. If I was running an event, I'd definitely take the Friday off.
Honestly, by your second one, you'll be fine.
Okay. But with kids, it doesn't matter because whatever plans you have go out the window. So
even if you take the day off, you won't get any tournament shit done. You have kids.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. So good plan to take the Friday off. Didn't help me. And then the next thing I would suggest is use Mike Adkins software. I can't talk about how great that software was enough.
Yeah, it is very, very good.
It made everything easy. The only thing I played with was I wanted to ensure that the people coming up from Montreal got to play 5 new games against 5 new opponents. Because as much as Grace going home in the car with Eric after the tournament playing on table 1 would be unavoidable if that situation happened. Like, sucks to be that, but you're playing table 1. If you're Max, you don't want to play Paul on table 13 at the end of round 5. So as a TO, you can kind of adjust those things to make sure that car ride.
And make sure everyone has a good time.
Yeah, because you don't want people to have a bad time, and especially if it. Well, it didn't matter for the wooden spoon because.
To be fair, all we ever promised anyone is that they would come and have a good time. Yes. We didn't promise we'd get anything right or do anything correctly or even say things that were appropriate.
Nope.
So we accomplished all of those goals by not doing any of those. No. And we made sure everybody had a good time. So, yeah.
So it worked out. And I look forward to doing it again. We are going to use the same site in August. I'm doing the final arrangements for that. Don't know who's running the event for King Beyond
the Wall will be in Brantford, and currently Alex is slated to host.
And it's we're just finalizing the date, but it's either going to be August 8th, 9th, 10th, which is the primary, or 15, 16, 17, which is secondary date.
And once we confirm the date, if you want a photo or autograph with Alex, book with us in advance and we'll schedule a time for you.
We might even have a rat costume for him. That might happen.
Or for you if you want to wear it.
I fucking wear one. I don't give a shit.
a bit closer to the boat, we have the Mood for Love.
We do. Love Comes Lately, which is when again?
The 22nd.
The 22nd of this month, or next month.
March. No, so it's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. We were gonna have Nathan on to say some stuff about it, but unfortunately, shit got real at work, so he won't be on right now.
So it is a 1,000-point blind date. So you don't submit lists beforehand. We trust everyone who's coming to just write a legal list and not be a dickhead. So you write a list, you bring it with you, you bring your models, you get paired up with someone randomly with their unknown 1,000-point list. So you can't even pregame with anybody ahead of time in the what if scenario. What if we're partners? What if we get to go on a date? Nope. You get a stranger thrust in your lap, and then there you go, off to game 1.
It's just like being Santa Claus. Somebody always wants to sit on your candy cane.
That took a weird turn, but correct.
Speaking of which, weird turns. We have not mentioned who won the wooden spoon. This was an 8-pound piece of steel that I actually that I put together and stamped. I believe it was our own Ryan King.
It was
he finally got his first wooden spoon.
I know.
He has been dying for one.
It was the best of all wooden spoon. I even told him, and I'm not kidding, if he can get it back to me, I will stamp his name in it too. So this thing, if you get a chance, look at the pictures.
It is a wooden spoon that's actually about like this.
It was 27 inches long and it weighed 8 pounds. It was massive.
So 27 inches is only like this.
And also the gauntlet. It went to the Nickel City
So the Canadian tournament. We have a number of Canadian teams. This is our moment. The Shambling Horde is underrepresented.
That's right.
They won it the last time they were up. So the prize started by us here in Canada. Finally has a chance to return home. And Ben, how did that work out? Because Ben,
it worked out great because it went to Murder Garage Nickel City Kings, which means I'm taking.
And the Nickel City Kings are.
It might have been Justin, Eric, Trowbridge, Grace, Redmoyer, and Nick Scabata.
And how many of them live in Canada?
Well, we live.
How many of them live in Canada?
Physically, no.
How many of them live in Canada?
But I'm still taking ownership because they are still
0% of them because you recruited too many Murder Garage people and they had to split off because we couldn't avoid pairing the Murder Garage against the Murder Garage in round 1.
We only had 9 guys out of 20.
11. You had 11.
You had 11 when it started. You created this problem.
We also got Joe Bagazi to
we know. You recruited fucking people from the States and blew your count up, and then we couldn't pair you with anybody but you guys. And so some of you had to leave, and now it was an American club that won it again.
It was still Murder Garage. So all of us, we're all taking on. No, I'm kidding. No, hell.
No.
Justin,
so wait, Ben. Here's what we're doing because we're special. Is when I bought the gauntlets, there were 2, a left and a right. So I have the other gauntlet. One is making its way out to Orktown for whoever wins it there, which won't be Canadian. The other one, we're gonna paint red as the special glove. Canadian.
We're not doing this. No, we're not. I know I told you then. I'm telling you that we're not doing this.
Does it count from the last tournament?
Yeah.
Does it count for March of Death? Yeah. So who was the top Canadian team then?
Oh, I'm pulling it up right now because it is important to find out.
But it sure as hell was not you, buddy.
Yes, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
How the hell could it have been you if I had Joe and me and Joe are 4 and 5?
Okay.
Joe doesn't really count.
Joe doesn't really count. Joe's Canadian.
Joe doesn't count.
So best team was Nickel City Kings.
That's right.
Yeah, we know.
Second best team was the Shambling Horde.
There's no way. Wait a minute. I remember looking at this.
Third best team was the A team.
Yay! Best Canadian team, Ben. Suck it. No recounts.
I was looking at this shit when the thing was going off. I was behind the scenes.
But you can't do math.
It came up. He's screwing with me here.
No, I'm not.
No,
you're not. I'm gonna get you a red fucking.
Because we were all of the spots. We were pretty well all the spots right after you through 10th or 11th even. I think I was. 11th.
How many of you were there?
6.
Yeah. Okay. So you're telling me I had too many people?
Yes, and we only had 6.
Technically, your Murder Garage too.
So yes, it will be painted red, and it will be this
hockey glove.
And as usual, the A team. Actually, ours should just be a hockey glove.
It should just be a hockey glove.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a red hockey glove that we Sharpie our name onto each year.
Actually, that's not a bad plan.
That's probably a better solution for us than a nice
guy. This has got
because we were overall, so I don't really feel like we earned a gauntlet either. Like a hockey glove, sure.
We need to find a hockey glove.
Well, we can find one, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And I like that. We'll Sharpie our names onto it.
We'll just Sharpie it on instead of like a black.
Do it A team. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, with that all being said, I think
there will be a picture in the future of the hockey glove.
But yet again, we've gone 45 minutes. So all of you who have lasted this long, God, I feel sorry for you. You must have better things to do in your lives. For the rest of you,
I don't feel sorry for you guys. You guys choose this, so you get what you get.
Well, it would be nice to have a few more people actually subscribe to the stuff.
I told you I'll do that already. Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we'll end that here. Thank you very much for coming out. Thank you again, Ray, for actually running it. Thank you for getting a tie against me, John. I hate you, you son of a bitch.
Thank you to all our opponents. We all had a good weekend.
We did.
Everybody were gentlemen. Everybody played clean.
Everybody
went easy on Ray, even when he made egregious calls.
He really did. We look forward to next year. We look forward to Mood of Love. We look forward to the next time I see any of you across the table from any of us and from all of us. Thank you all for coming who did. And we will see you next time on Nerf Check. Bye.
Bye.